it's Maggie, and I am back doing another section of my podcast for this retro dress that I'm working on, Butterick 6956, and I'm up to, I'm still on step 2, excuse me. So let's see, what I'm doing now is, let me just move things around a little bit so you can see. I'm working on the pocket flap, which is this right here, and this is my dress front, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm actually attaching this pocket flap. You're supposed to baste the pocket flap on here. What I'm going to do is actually just pin it here. I want to try to do it neatly. I did extend it just a little bit. So I'm going to pin that on, and then I think what I'll do is machine baste it. It says to baste it. And then I'll be attaching the lining to that, the pocket lining and the pocket. So I want everything to lie nice and flat. So that's what we're doing here. Just a little bit longer than, I did extend it just a little bit. Now I did serge these seam allowances here, and I haven't decided how I'm going to deal with this edge here. I think I'm going to, after I attach it, maybe I will serge it, because once the lining is put on, because I will, the pocket lining, because I'll be serging that too, because that's the method I'm using for this dress. Like another time I would possibly be, as I mentioned before, I would be using pinking shears for this. Okay, so that extends up about 5/8 of an inch. Okay. Now I'm thinking maybe I should do both pieces or just go right into doing it. I think I'll go right into basting that on. Okay, so let's see if I can bring my machine where you can see it. I'm trying a little different layout here. A little different camera layout here. Okay. Got everything flat. Okay, I'm going to do 5/8 of an inch. Now it's interesting, it does have like the curve, this extends a tiny bit up that way, and the curve is meant to like come away just a little bit, so this is going to go like that, and it's going to have a little bit of a curve, but right at this juncture here, we are going to do just a row of basting. So I'm going to increase my stitch length to, let's see, here it's at 2.4. I'm going to do it up to like maybe 3 or 310. We'll do it up to 310. Let's see, get my little pin thing. Okay. All right. And we're off to the races again. Off to the races again. I'm going to try to make sure this is flat, nice and flat. And and I'm gonna be what was I gonna say? I can't remember what I was gonna say. See how much I can get done on it today. It's Saturday, and maybe it's not like a nighttime session, so maybe I will get a little more done today. Okay. All right. All right, so I have that basted on. Okay. Oh, don't want to lose my camera. And the next thing is to put the pocket facing on, which I have right here, and that I'm going to be sewing on. Okay, so let's see, do I have the right one? Let's see. I better look at the instructions to make sure that I'm doing this right. Okay, here's the pocket facing, and I need the wrong side. Let's see. I think I have the wrong one. The one for the other front. Okay. So that will go like this. Okay. I'm going to make sure that is good and flat. Now when I piece this together, and I added a little bit to the skirt waist. Okay, you know, I looked at this pocket piece. Oh, it looks like maybe this is, all right. All right, we'll pin it first. Okay. Did a little bit with the sizing on this. You know, as I mentioned, I added to the waist, but when I was looking at this particular piece, this gets turned inside after you apply it. It gets turned inside like this. This actually, I didn't lengthen this. I probably should have though, because it looks like it's a little shy here, but luckily it stretches just a little bit. So hopefully this will work out. I may actually end up having to do some pinking on some of this, instead of serged edge. And I am kind of picky about the inside of my garments. So this gets sewn on. Okay, that looks like that's going to meet up pretty well. Okay, so the next thing is going to be to sew this on. I got to go back to my original stitch length, 3.4. There. And I have this nice basting line here, which is perfect. So that will go back in here. Okay, 5/8 of an inch. I'm gonna do my back tack. Do my backpack. Do my back tack. And I hope you do enjoy this viewpoint. try something a little different viewpoint. I want to pull that up just a little bit. Okay. This goes up. Look at that picky. Okay, back stitch. All right. So this is going to get folded over to the inside like this. If you can see, it's going to get folded over, so I have to do a little bit of trimming and pressing and whatnot. But that is what the pocket flap is going to look like. Okay, so let's see, what does it say to do next? Okay, it says trim, seam, and turn facing inside, baste and roll the seam away from the edge. Okay, so we're going to trim this seam, this seam is actually pretty, it's pretty thick, because I've got the 2 pieces of pocket flap and some of it's interfaced, so that is gonna be a little bit of doing with that. So let me see if I can get a better view of this. Okay, pull this up a little bit. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, there. Getting all my camera setups here. Okay, there. So you can see my little shelves here that I put together for my little area. Have it all organized. Maybe I'll have to do a little explanation. I got my sewing books behind me, my iron, and I got a little cubby in the shelves for my machines. Okay, so this needs to be trimmed. So I'm gonna do this gingerly. Now I may actually want to trim out some of that. I'm going to see how well it folds over. I may have to trim out a little more. Okay, let's see. I'm going to need to clip it. I actually think I'm going to understitch this. Okay. Let's see. So I'm going to clip that. That's pretty thick. I wonder if I can trim out any more. No, I'm going to just clip it and then understitch it. So it feels pretty thick, so it's gonna like make like a nice edge, a nice pocket edge, sturdy. It'll be like a sturdy pocket edge. But I think if I understitch it, that will be good. Okay. So this folds to the inside like this. All right. So let's understitch this. We're gonna have to stitch it to this lining here is what we're gonna have to do. Now I'm just wondering if I can trim any of this, more of this out. We'll leave it like that and go from there. Okay. Just pull this a little closer so you can see it. You end up making decisions on the fly with this. So, okay, so here's another understitching opportunity. I didn't trim it down quite as much as I did previously. I've got my stitch lengths at 3.4, which is perfect. Okay, back stitch a little bit. And this is not as much of a curve, so it's a little easier. So I'm just pulling the two sides apart a little bit, and I'm trying to stay fairly close to that seam, like maybe like 1/8 of an inch or so from the seam. Okay. There. Okay. Back stitch, and it is very nice to have a machine that does your knots for you. Okay, so that's the understitching. Now this should roll a lot better, which yes it does. Okay, it's gonna roll for me, and I think I'll probably want to press this before I go to the next step. The next step is going to be attaching the pocket, but that is what it's gonna, the flap is gonna look like this. It's kind of cute. Yeah. Okie dokie. So we'll stop here for a second. Hi everyone, Maggie here. I'm back. It's a little dark, isn't it? Okay, so we are at step 3 now. What I did was I sewed the facing on and onto the flap here, and this flap does kind of like fall away from the skirt a little bit, and then I pinned the pocket on. So and you do have to put, I did have to put a lot of pins in because it kind of gathers up a little bit. So I'm going to sew that on, and then I'm going to put the pleats in the front piece here. I actually did one of the sides off camera, and then I can sew all the skirt pieces together. And I'm thinking maybe what I can do is actually put them on the dress form and kind of like let them hang overnight. So yeah, so hopefully this, I can finish this tonight. Okay, this step 3, which is the pocket and the pleats, and maybe I'll even get more done than that. So we will see. Okay. Now, where do I want to start? I think I want to start on this side. Okay. So I just kind of pre-pin this. And it's 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Now what I did decide to do was just to serge around the pockets. I'm going to do a little back stitch up. I was doing some basting and I gotta reset my stitch length to 240. We'll do a little back stitch here. Okay, and yeah, so I had made a decision to go ahead and serge around all the way around my pockets, so that they will be, you know, the seam allowances will be enclosed. So not as a single layer, but as a double layer here. I'm actually not taking the pins out because it's kind of gathered in there a little bit. Just going carefully, and hopefully I won't have to replace my needle. Okay. Sometimes when you're gathering in material, or at least I kind of need the pins when I'm gathering. Still kind of dependent on them. I don't know what's the anyway. Okay. So we'll get up to the end here, back stitch, and there we go. Okay. Now I'm gonna take these pins out. All right. And do my pleats. So there's like 2 pleats on the front of the skirt. Okay. Now, oops, gotta be careful. This is kind of like what it looks like. The pocket kind of falls away from the skirt. Oh, I might have to do a little, actually this, I think I stitched that down too far. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I did. Oh, gonna have to do a little ripping here. Let's see. I actually did this on the other one too, and I had to fix it, believe it or not. This corner here is kind of weird. You don't want to sew into the pocket here because it kind of falls away. It falls away from the project here. Let me see. In the skirt. So just pick this up a bit. Oh gosh. Okay. You'd think I'd get it right this time, right? It's the same mistake I made on the other one. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, yeah, this pocket needs to be like kind of loose. So there. Maybe I just take that out like that. Okay. Tie it off. All right. So bear with me. Now, what did I do with my scissors? Let's see. There they are. All right. Okay. All right. So, I have a pleat here, right here. I actually there's a line, as you can see right here. I'm actually, or I don't know if you can actually see the line, I'm actually just going to baste this here. And it's like a little front pleat on the front of the skirt, and it kind of show you how it falls. It kind of falls like this, so you can see, okay, kind of like that. So I'm just pinning it in place, and then then I am basting it. I'm going to baste it. So this is about, I measured this and on the other one, and it's about 2.5 inches. So I put a pin where it's going to need to go here, like this. And that's going to be my pleat, my little pleat here. This, I got to attach this there. So I'm just going to baste all the way across the top here. I mean, I just had to like loosen this up here. This has got to, because this has got to go into the side seam. So I might actually baste that too, because the pocket kind of like falls away from the skirt. I'll show you actually. I think I'm going to put it on my dress form, and I can show you how it looks. But where did I put my tape measure? Hold on a second. I want to make sure I have this pleat just right. And I don't want to catch the top edge of the pocket there, so I have to be careful. But let's see. I got my tape measure here, because I want the two fronts to be consistent. So once I get that done, then, yeah, so it's like 2.25 inches. Okay, so that is perfect. Okay, that's perfect. All right. Okay, so we're going to baste this. Okay, and I'm actually just basting across the whole front, just to kind of give it like a little bit of stay stitching anyway. So we'll start here. I'm going to increase my stitch size, okay, to like 3. I had it on 3, and it's around a little less than 5/8 of an inch, because I want to hide that basting line in the seam allowance. Okay, there. And I want to just catch this edge here. Whoop, carefully. I should have put a pin there. Okay, and then I got the 2 pleats there. Now this pleat, wait a minute, that pleat is not close. Hold on a minute. It's actually not close enough to the, as I remember on the other one. It's got to be a little bit closer to this edge here. I'm going to remeasure it. Oh my gosh. All right, so this goes like that. I want to get it just right. Okay, that kind of is closes up. And then this pleat, which is 2.5 inches, ends about right here. This is about a 1/2 inch pleat right here, according to the dots. Okay, I want to get it just right. All right, that goes like that. I don't know why it just felt like it wasn't, still feels like it's too far away. Let me look at this other front. See how this is? No, I guess not. That's a good distance. Okay. All right. No, that looks good. I like things to be consistent, so now I'm just going to make sure it's 2.5 inches. and, or not 2.5, 2.25. Okay, this one's actually a little more than 2.25. No, that's right. Okay. Then I can pin the whole skirt together and put it on my dress form and just let it kind of like hang. So yeah, that will be nice. Okay, so I'm going to continue basting here. All right, going to catch that spot. Just barely. Okay. I'm going over my pins, but anyway. Okay. Luckily it's basted, so if I need to make any changes, I can. All right. Okay. All right. Let's look at these. I have this pin here because that's how far up I need to sew the seam, the front seam. Okay, so I got my pleats, which is here, step 3, and I think sewing the center front is step 4. Yeah, step 4. This is the next thing I have to do, is that center front. Okay. So let's look at these. Do they look the same? Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, they do. Yeah. This just looks a little further away. The pocket looks a little further away. Let me just match these up. Are they the same length? Yeah. Okay, that's good. All right. Oh, I know why that looks that way. Okay. I'm going to get it just the way I want it. All right? This is up just a little tad here. I'm going to be picky. Okay? That is just kind of like turned up a little bit. And it's like, you know, this is my basting line. And it needs to go a little bit in this direction. Okay. All right. And this is going to be sewn into the dress. All right, let me see if I can just get it better. Just a little bit better. A little bit closer here. Still basting. I don't know if that's any change at all, but anyway, okay. Lower the presser foot. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right. That passes. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm pinning the center fronts, okay? If I want to go back and fiddle with that some more, I can do that off camera. Okay, so up to this point here, because the placket, the front placket, button placket goes down into the skirt. Okay, so these are my center fronts. Okay, pin those, and I I know it looks a little weird with me checking my camera. So I'm using my camera as my, you know, close-up camera and also as like a microphone. And then the other camera is actually my GoPro that I'm using. So it gives you like a little different view. Okay. I also like using my cell phone, but it really doesn't have enough storage on it for me to produce anything. I can do like short little things on it, but nothing too major. So it'd be nice if I can get this. It's Saturday night. I took a little break, watched the news, had dinner, watched a National Geographic special. And I just want to get this to a point where at least maybe the skirt can hang overnight. And maybe tomorrow I might start working on the bodice. But maybe tomorrow I can get through the bodice. I'm going to try something interesting with the button bands. I think I might, they have you make like, you know, cloth, a little strips of cloth, but I think I'm going to use elastic, and I'm going to try feeding the elastic through, and I'm going to kind of check and see. I might see how that looks, and I might try a couple of different techniques and see how they look. So all right. So, just make sure I get it just the way I want. Back to my regular strength coffee, regular stitch length, okay? All right, I'm gonna need a lot of coffee tomorrow morning. Okie dokie. Okay, we're off to the races again. I'm starting at the bottom of the skirt, and I'm just doing this center front seam, and I'm going to take my pins out as I go, be a good example. Okay, 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. I did add a little bit to this to give myself a little bit of a room, and I mean, even with the room, I have been working on trying to get in shape, and my waist measurement went down a little bit, so maybe I didn't need to add so much, but I think I'm going to need it. We're going to put it on the dress form. I have the dress form set at my waist measurement, and we're going to see how it does. Let it just kind of like maybe hang. Oh, this is just cotton, which is not like a big deal, but if it were like a wool or something like that, it might be a little more critical. Okay, so I'm just going to do a back stitch here at the top, Okay, I'll do all the pressing afterwards. So this is the seam here. Okay. So I can do all of my seams in this sitting. So yeah, so this is what the front looks like. These pockets, and I'm sorry you can't really, I'm going to give you a better view of it when I put it on the dress form. But you can just kind of see how it has the pockets kind of come away and like that. And then it has the pleats. Okay. All right, so now we can attach the back of the skirt. I have the back of the skirt here. Okay. Let's see if you can see a little better. So we'll pin the front to the back. That's the waist, back. Okay. And whoops, I got the wrong side there. Right sides together. It's interesting how they did things in those days. So there's my pleats. That's going to be left open. Okay. All right. And we're going to do our pinning. I have to check my cameras so I know that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I'm going to do 5/8 of an inch also on this. I did kind of like try it on a little, you know, I think it's going to just fit. Or maybe what I'll do is maybe I'll baste it first to make sure. That's what I'll do. I'll baste it. Okay, so this, I got to be careful with this. This one is okay, but the other one is a little bit difficult. I'll baste it and then I'll, because who wants to rip the whole thing out if it's too tight or something like that? Or if it's too loose, which I don't think it's going to be too loose. All right. And I did mention that looks like this is not going to line up exactly, which it's okay. I did serge this just a little bit longer, this edge. Just sometimes that does happen. Just make sure I did it okay, smooth. One of the skirt pieces is just a little tad longer, but that can, at the end, in the end, it'll be trimmed. Okay. We'll do the other side, pin the other side. I like to cut my thread tails off because they aren't very pretty. Okay. All right. Making sure the top matches up. This has to be done carefully here. Spot here. That's the way these pockets, flaps kind of sit in here. Okay. There. They sit away just a little bit. Kind of like a gap open a little bit. It's one of the features that they want. And I do remember dresses like that in those days. Okay. Hi everyone, I just wanted to show you that I went ahead and stitched the side seams, and I put the skirt portion on my dress form, and I'm just gonna let it stay on there tonight and just hang. It's only cotton, but I think this would do really nice in a wool, in like a wool fabric. So you can see how the pocket flaps just kind of like fall away from the dress. That's kind of like part of the design. So yeah, so we're gonna stop here and start working on the bodice, and then we put the two pieces together. All right, have a good night.